Hi, this is Tracy Hales Vass with Right on Four Corners on KSJE 90.9 FM. Today I have the pleasure of talking to Ann Perramond, who writes as Ann Meyers and Nora Page, about her Santa Fe Cafè Mysteries and her Bookmobile Mysteries. Good morning, Ann.
Good morning.
I certainly did enjoy the books I read of yours. In fact, I stayed up till way past my bedtime with Bread of the Dead last night.
Oh, thank you so much. That's great to hear. Not that you stayed up too late, but that
Right.
you enjoyed it.
Exactly. It was worth it. I really enjoyed both. I read the first of the Bookmobile Mysteries, and I read the first of the Santa Fe Mysteries, and they're just both delightful.
Oh, thank you.
You must have had a good time writing them.
I did have a lot of fun writing both of them. I had fun with the characters and the setting.
Yes.
And a lot of lots of food in there, too. So it was a lot of fun.
Are you yourself a chef?
I like cooking and I like baking. I can't say I'm a chef, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, I thought perhaps you did enjoy baking and cooking because there's so much of it in there. You cannot help but get hungry reading about the delectable foods and dishes in there.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I got hungry writing them, too, and I thought, well, I'm taste testing for a cause. I must eat this, so I did.
Very good. And then on your website, you have recipes, and in the books, both have more recipes. I thought that was fun, too.
I like that about culinary cozies, that you often get to include recipes. So especially for the Santa Fe ones, I think I have a full menu in all of those.
Right,
and then
you do.
In the Bookmobile Mysteries, I just couldn't stop, so I kept adding at least one for each one.
That's great. Well, before we get further along, can you give us a little synopsis of each of the series?
Okay. I'll give a try here. The Santa Fe Cafè Mysteries are set in Santa Fe, and they feature a chef named Rita Lafitte, and she's sort of starting over in life. She's about 40 and newly divorced and relatively new to Santa Fe. So she's learning as the books go on and learning about Santa Fe and recipes, and she has her mentor in the books is Flory, an 80-year-old, the owner of her cafe, and gets into lots of trouble, too. So together they solve crimes and eat a lot of great food and make a lot of great food.
That's right. And then the new series, the Bookmobile Mysteries.
Oh, right. So when the Santa Fe ones ended, one of my favorite characters was Flory, the octogenarian chef. And so a little of her lives on in Cleo Watkins, who's the Bookmobile driving librarian in the Bookmobile Mysteries. And Cleo drives a school bus that's turned into a bookmobile, and in the first book, she's fighting to save the library in her town, and she gets wrapped up in a murder. And all the other books in the series involve bookish crimes that Cleo helps solve with her book skills.
Such is the cozy mystery genre.
Yeah. She uses some of her special knowledge to help the police, but also to look into things that they might not have seen, and they involve things that she's passionate about, saving the library,
right,
helping her friends, helping her town.
And books.
And books.
And
yeah.
I have to say pies also.
Oh, yeah, she loves pies. That's where my culinary thing couldn't stop. She does a lot of eating and biscuits. I made a lot of biscuits in Cleo's name,
right.
Thinking she's always after the perfect biscuit, and so am I.
Both series are rich in characters, and the characters are so real and alive.
Oh, thank you.
They must have inhabited your dreams and thoughts as you write them.
They've been fun to write, and I especially love Cleo and Flory, but all the characters. They become your friends, especially in the series. You kind of get to know them and their relations and what they're going to be doing. So it's been fun to write them in 3 books each.
So how long have you been writing?
Hard question. I started a lot of books before I finally finished one that was never published, but I finally finished one, and after that I thought, okay, I can finish one. So the Santa Fe ones are my first published ones. And then after that, I started doing the Bookmobile Mysteries. So maybe not so long. Think back to the years. Less than 10 years, maybe, 10 years.
Wow.
But I was always starting them, but just never finishing them. So
I understand that for sure. I think that's a common case with many writers.
Yeah, I love starting. I'm a ball of fire when it comes to starting them, and then you get to the middle and think, do I have a book here?
Oh, yes, the dreaded middle. Where are you located now?
I am in Colorado Springs now.
Oh.
My husband teaches at Colorado College, so we moved out here to Colorado, and he has been doing research down in New Mexico about water issues, so we got to go down there a lot, and that's what sparked my love of Santa Fe and good family friends that let us house sit down there. So.
Oh, perfect. Very good.
Yeah, it's very nice for us.
So do you write every day? Is your writing process such that you sit down every day deliberately at a certain time?
I really try to.
Good.
When I was writing the Santa Fe novels, I was somehow much better. I don't know what has happened to me, but I would make myself write a certain word count per day.
Good.
And that worked out really well. So I try to keep to that, and I try to write in the mornings because I'm better then.
And do you have a writing group that you're with?
I have a wonderful writing group. I think you've talked about them before on the podcast, the Sisters in Crime.
Yes.
There's a really active Sisters in Crime Colorado chapter that I'm a member of.
Oh, good.
Such a nice, supportive group.
Yes, I've heard from other authors that praised that group and other authors who say it's so important to have that feedback.
It really is, and I have a wonderful critique partner who, kindly reads these drafts and
Very good.
tells me what I can work on. So it's been really wonderful being part of that group.
This might be a good time for you to read something for us so we can kind of get your voice.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to read from the third Bookmobile mystery, which is coming out in May.
Great.
And I'm not giving anything away. They all start with a little bit of Cleo, the main protagonist, and what she's doing in her life at the time, what she's thinking. So this is from Book 3, Read or Alive. Librarian Cleo Watkins prided herself on living a modest life. In all her 76 years, Cleo had never craved designer shoes, flashy jewels, or new model cars. She was judicious in her use of air conditioning, although a tad flagrant with the furnace. Cleo canned peaches and put up her own pickles. She still darned his socks. However, everyone has a weakness, some little luxury they can't resist. An obsession? Obsession sounded extreme. But then so was Cleo's love for books. Hold tight to your wallet, Cleo Jane. Mary Rose Garland, Cleo's best friend since infancy, clapped a protective hand over her purse. So slender, Cleo doubted it could hold sunglasses, let alone important purchases. Like books, armloads and bags of books. I'm going to cut this a little here, but Cleo and Mary Rose are on their way to the old depot in their small town of Catalpa Springs, Georgia. And they're off to a very special event, and it's particularly special for Cleo. So she's looking across the crossroads. Here she is again. The Georgia Antiquarian Book Society Fair, Cleo said, blissfully reading the banner stretched over the entry. She mentally replayed the fair's promise, a one-week extravaganza of rare books, old books, used books, maps, manuscripts, and bookish ephemera beyond imagination. Cleo felt as giddy as a kid on Christmas morning, Halloween, and her birthday combined. She stepped into the crosswalk, eager to get inside. An arm whipped across her chest, halting her. Proceed with caution, Cleo, said Mary Rose, more firmly than the sparse Monday morning traffic on Main and Alberta streets warranted. Let's agree right here and now. We'll do a full scoping lap around the booths first, remembering that we're sensible, mature women on budgets. Cleo shelved the words under recommendation. Subcategory, well-intentioned but unrealistic, like the proper serving size of French fries being 6 pieces. Who could possibly hold to such a tiny number? Who would want to? Not Cleo, but she wouldn't argue with a friend on such a fine, sparkly day. Of course, Cleo said, twining soothing fingers behind the purse the size of carry-on luggage. The purse was empty except for her wallet and several expandable shopping bags. Mary Rose snorted, allowed them to proceed. The look in your eye, Cleo Jane Watkins. You're like a kid about to dive into a chocolate swimming pool. All I ask is you don't go drowning in temptation. No falling in love with a book you can't afford and getting your heart broken. Oh, it was Cleo's turn to scoff. How could I ever get my heart broken among books and book lovers? So, she's about to maybe get her heart broken.
Exactly.
Her gentleman friend, Henry, comes under suspicion, so it's critical for her to solve this crime.
Yeah, we met Henry in the first Bookmobile one, and he sells old books, right?
He does. So this antiquarian fair in Book 3 is something he has helped set up, and his reputation is at stake, but then he comes under suspicion for murder, and everyone starts to believe that he might be guilty, and that Cleo has fallen for the wrong man. So there's a little bit of romance in there, but also lots of antiquarian bookish crimes. And
great.
Fun there.
Can't wait to read that one, too.
Oh, thank you.
So what made you decide to write cozy mysteries, and why these settings and characters?
Well, I just happened on cozy mysteries. This is probably what happens with a lot of people who read the genre. I started reading. I just started a new job after college, and I needed something that was, I don't want to say just escapist, but they're just wonderful, fun, lighthearted. There's mystery you want to keep going, and I started reading Diane Mott Davidson.
Oh, yes.
Who was, her. She did a bunch of books, culinary mysteries, set up in Colorado. This was before I even lived in Colorado.
Oh.
And I just loved her books. And they were about a caterer who solved crimes, and I just devoured them. And so when I started writing mysteries, I eventually came around to these. I thought, I love them. I love recipes and mysteries and the characters involved.
Right. And then the characters, though, are unique to you and to the books. Are they composites of people you know, or?
A little bit. Like, I always thought that Flory in the Santa Fe books, the cafe owner, was a little bit of my grandmother. If my grandmother had run a cafe in New Mexico, maybe that would have been her. And I think Cleo is just a little bit of her, too, because my grandmother worked in libraries.
Oh, perfect.
So it's just a little of her spirit there, I think of when I write those characters.
And I like that there's pets in them, cats and dogs.
I have a cat, and so, yes, my cat in various forms turns up in the books.
Yes.
And other pets, too, because I think they're so important. And in cozy mysteries, they do get to come along and be an important part of the story. So that's what I also love about cozies.
Right. Cleo's cat that goes along for rides in the Bookmobile is quite the character, with her chopped up haircut.
Yeah, I like him. Rhett Butler, the cat.
Oh, right, Rhett Butler, yes.
Yeah.
And Henry's little pug.
Yeah, that's Mr. Chaucer. Yeah, it was fun to have them each have cats. And pets can have such characters, too, so that was fun to include.
Have you written other things, then?
I guess I've started a bunch of things.
Right.
And one that was finished but never published, sort of the learning process of getting to the end of a book.
Well, you have these under a pretty big imprint, HarperCollins imprint. How did you go through that? Did you get an agent, and how did you find your agent, and how'd that work?
I got an agent, and for the Santa Fe books are under, the William Morrow, and that was still amazing to me. After I finished the book, I have to admit, this is amazing. After I finished the book, I went on a search for agents, and I did it the way you just send out. I don't know, I should have kept count of the queries. Somewhere I did, but I'm in denial of how many. It must have been over 100. And it's a lot of rejection,
Right.
And so there was tons and tons of rejection, and I was just fortunate to be connected with my agent, Christina Hogervay at Jane Rasmussen, and she was able to find us this great home at William Morrow and stuck with me, and
That's great.
found the Bookmobile's home at Crooked Lane, which specializes. It's a smaller press, but it specializes in mysteries and thrillers, so that's great too.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just been delightful to work with them all.
It's been a subject of conversation with some of my authors on how it's so different between the creative process of writing and then the marketing.
The writing part, I sometimes have read these things about, the most difficult thing about writing is being alone in your house and being, isolated writing. I'm grand at that. I love that. But when it comes to the marketing, I do have, that's a challenge for me. I have to get myself on Facebook and social media, and I feel like I have a lot to learn about that still and to do. It's something that doesn't come.
And it evolves so quickly. It changes so fast.
Yeah, it's like I've loved Instagram. I don't know if I'm great at marketing my books on it, but I like that medium, being able to do pictures. But I've never been able to get on Twitter, it seems. And
right.
That part is challenging to me, I'll admit. And Sisters in Crime has been helpful. They do workshops on this, and
good.
I feel like I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but getting myself to do it sometimes is
I understand.
a challenge.
So you do have a web presence at AnnMeyersBooks.com, right?
I do. I have that for the Ann Meyers, and when I got the two pen names, I probably should have combined them, but I also have one for the Bookmobile Mysteries, which is NovelMystery.com.
NovelMysteries.com, okay.
NovelMystery.com for my Nora page. And now that they're separate, I wish I'd combined them. So
Do you?
That's another thing about marketing I wish I'd known.
Yeah. I was going to ask you why you wrote under the different names.
That came about when I got the new publisher, I think, and I didn't realize this either, I think it's pretty common that some of them want to have fresh names, a different, you have a different name. So
I've heard that. Yeah.
So they asked for a different name, and I'd sort of Ann Meyers. Meyers is my grandmother's name, so I'd taken inspiration for that. And then I kind of ran out of family names that were that would have been good to use, so I just picked something totally different. So
Nora Page.
So that got totally confusing. For a while, my husband was asking me who I was on this book. And
that must be interesting when someone comes up for you to sign a book from each series. You have to remember who you are for each one.
I do, and I feel a little funny about it. I thought, like I'm undercover or something. For a while, I thought maybe Nora Page could have sort of a different persona from Ann Meyers, but it just turns out being me.
That's okay. And then you, like you said, you're active on Facebook under Ann Meyers, and also Nora Page is on Facebook also?
Yes, they're two separate things.
Okay.
Which, if this occurs to anybody that they're doing two separate names, I would recommend keeping them together just for ease of social media aims. But we're both. I'm out there as both.
So your books can be found everywhere, basically.
They can, and I'm really thrilled that the Bookmobile Mysteries will be on audio soon through Blackstone Audio, so I was excited about that. I love audiobooks.
Yes, me too.
And the Santa Fe ones are on audio, too, as well as Kindle and e-books and regular books, too. So, and libraries.
I think my friend who introduced me to you had found your books at our public library and was very excited about, and she recommended me to talk to you. So it was a great...
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank her. Yeah, I love, and especially the Bookmobile Mysteries, I think in particular, were marketed toward libraries and book clubs. So
right.
Hopefully they can be found there, which I love because I'm a huge library user.
That's good. That's good. And you can tell by the Cleo and how she loves her library and her bookmobile.
Yeah, she sticks up for them.
So what, you're just finishing the third of the Bookmobile Mysteries, right?
I just did. I turned in the proofreading, the last final proofreading a couple weeks ago, and it will be out May 12th, I think.
Great.
I should remember. So that's exciting for springtime.
And then what's next?
Oh, I don't know. I'm in one of those between stages right now where I don't know. I've been working on something totally different, but since it has no home and is still unfinished, I can't say it's something yet. So, but hopefully there'll be more.
Good.
I always have ideas that I want to do, and then...
The Santa Fe Mysteries have ended, as you say on your website, and the Bookmobile Mysteries will end also, huh?
I'm not completely sure yet.
Okay.
It's hard to plan a series. I'm not completely sure. But there's definitely this third one that's coming out in May, and then we'll see what they've been doing and if they want more.
Right. And you kind of have to listen to your characters, don't you?
Yeah, it's true. And the publishers.
Well, I like that they have, your characters you have really strong women. And, but your men are very good characters, too. There's some
good. Thank you.
bad guys, but all of them you can sympathize with them.
Oh, good.
You know who I really liked in Better Off Red was Tops.
Oh, yeah. Good. I'm glad. I liked him.
Yeah. A complex character that really represented how so many people like him or misunderstood.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear you say that.
Where did he come from?
I honestly don't know. I think he just came with the story of somebody who would have seen something and might not have been immediately believed or maybe suspected, but wasn't not rightfully so.
Right.
Had information to give, so.
He rang really true, though. I think that homeless people or people in his position are all too evident in our community. And I don't want, I don't want to give too much away, though.
Oh, but thank you for saying that. Yeah, I liked having him in there and how the other characters knew him and believed him, and yeah. I want to thank you for letting me chat about books. It's such a treat. It's been a while. It's been a while since the Santa Fe books were published, so it's so nice to get to talk about them again.
Yeah.
And think about the characters. I sometimes wish I'll go down to Santa Fe and I think, they'll be doing this or that. So I get nostalgic about them.
I have spent quite a few times in Santa Fe, and your description of it, I mean, I'm there. You obviously have spent time there, dancing at the plaza, and I love all the different characters. Addie's an interesting one, too.
Oh, she was funny. I like that comedy characters can be kind of quirky sometimes.
Right.
Fun. So it's fun to write cozy mystery characters.
Right. But you have to make sure they're still solid characters. I mean, it seems to me writing a quirky character can get often unbelievable, but yours are not. I know these people.
Oh, thank you. Oh, good. I feel like I know them, but then I never know.
Right. No, I definitely want to see more of them.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been so fun to think about them again, talk about them.
Yeah. Great.
Well, I just want to thank you again. This has been so fun, and to thank readers, and I'll be like Cleo and promote library use and love your local library, and as what Cleo would say.
Right. Very good. Well, thank you again, and I look forward, like I said, to the next Bookmobile mystery.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it, Tracy.
Mm-hmm. And that was Anne Perramond, who writes as Anne Meyers and Nora Page. And we talked about her Bookmobile mysteries, her Santa Fe Cafè Mysteries. This is Tracy Hales-Vass with Right on Four Corners on KSJE 90.9 FM in Farmington, New Mexico.